YouTube. I'll forward the links and do the paperwork.
Yeah, it's streaming. Okay, there it is. Good. Just have to restart it. Yeah, there we go. Yep, computers, right? Can't live with them, but you really have to live with them. Okay. So we have two types of debate, two types of questions. We have information-seeking questions and logic questions. Now, within the logic questions, we're zeroing in on ever, ever lower levels of hierarchy here. Two types of logic questions. So this is something that we're going to go into in more detail tomorrow, like really kind of tease out what's going on here between these two different types of questions. But again, for now, we'll just let you know about them, so you have the rough idea that they exist. And we'll give a little example. So the first is called a statement of thesis. Now it's funny because we said two types of questions and then we call it a statement. Well, it's just a matter of they're phrased as statements, but they're, you're positing something. You are giving an assertion, right? Philosophical assertion. So then essentially you're asking, do you, is this true or not, right? And the person's answering if they accept or they don't accept it. The defender has to answer as if it's a yes or no question, even though it's phrased as a statement. Okay. So the statement of thesis, we have a subject and predicate, two pieces of this, and you word it like this. Take the subject, Socrates. It follows that he is mortal.
I accept.
Yeah, he's mortal. He died already. Take the subject, an electron. It follows that it is matter.
I accept.
Good. Oh, those are two clear-cut thesis statements. Good. So a thesis statement has two parts again, a subject and a predicate, which we'll get into more detail with later. And next we have a statement of pervasion. So a statement of pervasion is phrased a bit differently, and it goes something like this. It follows that if someone is a human, then they are necessarily mortal.
So this one's not just talking about Socrates, it's talking about everyone that's a human. So I accept that if someone is a human, they must necessarily be mortal. I accept.
It still seems right. Seems pretty true. Haven't seen anyone who was a human who was able to live without ever, dying, or at least looking like they're leading towards their final death. Okay, it follows that if something is a particle, then it's necessarily matter.
I accept.
Accepts. Cool. Okay, so we have two different kinds of statements or questions here. They're both logic questions. And so the statement of thesis is just straightforward. Your subject, your predicate, take an electron, it follows its matter. This is the predicate. You're looking at the predicate and the subject. Statement of pervasion is a little different. You're talking more specifically about a logical entailment, right? A relation. If something is A, does it necessarily B? Like a kind of more directly talking about the logical relation there. Now, the next part of this overview of the structure of Nalanda debate is the syllogism. So it's a three-part syllogism. Joe went over the important point that the logic we use here is actually consequential reasoning. And that's why we have the phrase, it follows, because fundamentally it can be used to sort of straightforwardly prove something, but it also can be used to draw out, and this is the more fundamental purpose, to draw out a belief, to draw out a consequence based on the beliefs that someone holds, based on their priors. So a defender has some priors, some beliefs, and then you get them to express them, to tell you, and then you draw out the consequences. So it follows that, so you accept every, if someone's a human, they're necessarily mortal. So it follows that Dave is mortal. It follows that, Lakshmi is mortal. It follows that, et cetera, right? Because they're all humans, so it follows they have to be mortal. Okay? So, and this is now in the three-part syllogism where we include a reason. So we just take that thesis, the subject and predicate, and we add a reason onto the end of it. That's what turns it into logic. That's what turns it just from blah, blah, blahing and saying things that saying whatever you think into actually having to establish something with reason. So just put it here as the example, take the subject, an electron, it follows that it's matter because it is something that is established as particle-like or composed of particles. Okay, you don't have to answer yet because we'll go into the answers. Well, so we already, did a couple of rounds, but here now in the next slide, we're talking about the answers to give to a thesis statement or question. So there's two. There's just two answers. Very simple. What are those two answers, Swagath? If I say take the subject, Socrates, it follows he is mortal. Now you gave one answer before, so just if you could just tell us what are both of the possible answers.
So the first way I can answer this question is by simply accepting, by saying I accept.
Yeah.
So that's straightforward. There are no complications. Now, what is slightly different about the way we debate is instead of flat out disagreeing with statements that are being made, we give the challenger a chance to tell us why they think something is the case. So, for example, if Donyo were to say that take Socrates, it follows he is not mortal, then I would say why? Because I disagree with him, but at the same time, I want to give him a chance to say why.
Right. So
these are the two possible answers.
So I accept and why are the two possible answers, and it's very nice that why is, it has a double meaning, right? It means no, I don't accept that, but it also means literally, well, what's the reason why? So and because of that, there's different ways that the challenger can then respond and go on to continue the debate as well. Okay, now what are two answers to give after a reason? So, Swagath, why don't you told us so clearly before. So what was the reason above? Take the subject, an electron, it follows that it's matter because it is something that is established as particle-like or composed of particles. That's a reason. So how do you respond? Assuming you don't accept it, right? Because accepting it, that's
right.
Easy. You just accept it. But what about the other two?
It's straightforward. I just say I accept.
You would accept. Okay, well, let me give you
so
another
now
one. Take the subject. Yeah, so take the subject, an electron.
Okay, give me another one.
Okay, well, how about this? Take the subject, a human consciousness. It follows that it's matter because it's established as particle-like.
So now, depending on why I disagree with Donyo, I have two options. Now, if I feel that his reason, which is it is established as being particle-like, if I feel that that is correct, then I would say that your reason is true, but it's not related. It doesn't necessarily mean that matter is consciousness or consciousness is matter. So let me rephrase that. Okay. So
I mean, what's just the
what
wording?
do you guys think? Okay, so for this, I would just very simply say reason not true.
Reason not true.
The reason is not true.
The reason not true. And that's one answer you can give. And the other answer would be something like, so that's saying that the human consciousness is not established as particle-like, right? That was the reason. It's not true. It's not true of the subject. Now, what about the and the other option is no pervasion. So that's what maybe I would give a reason, like take the subject human consciousness. It follows that it is matter because it is existent.
So here, I don't agree with Donyo that it is matter, but I do agree with him that it is existent. So here I'm going to say no pervasion.
No pervasion, right? So that
Because I feel
means
that it is true that it is existent. So his reasoning is correct, but then the reasoning doesn't imply that his statement is correct.
there you
So
go.
reason not established, or sorry, no pervasion, Tony.
No pervasion. There's no pervasion. Not everything that is existent has to be matter. Come on, silly. Okay, thank you. So that's really the gist of it. So we already went through the open-ended information-seeking questions. Those are the last two pages on the work on the lecture notes. So you can just look over that again, but we went through it, so it's all been covered. So now what we'll do is we'll switch it up a little, and that was the explanation. Now we're just going to give examples of the drills, and that way you guys can go and have at it. But we'll just give you a few minutes of exemplifying, just like Joe and Stefan did in the last lecture. So I'll again share my screen just to show you what it is that we are drilling, what it is that we're talking about. So the first thing is actually a script, which you can literally just read word for word. And you could also sort of use it as, well, there's a separate one, which is a template that has just the basic kind of framework of the types of statements that you can plug in whichever kinds of subjects that you want to plug in. But for now, we'll just go through a few lines of it so that way you see what it is that we are referring to and make sure that you're on the same page. So when we break out for debate, right, after we do this demo, as well as during your debate practice session, the hour-long session, these are the materials that we'll be going through for the for today and then tomorrow for those in India and Europe, etc. So let's just make sure we all have them. So there's the documents that were just sent into the announcements group right before this session began. So we have 4 documents, or 5 documents maybe. The one that we just went through was lecture notes. Then we have day 1.2 script, counting debate. Day 1.2 drill 1, ask answer theses. Day 1.2 drill 2, ask answer theses. And day 1.2 drill 3, ask theses with fill in the blank. Theses fill in the blank. So now I will screen share, and Swagath, so we're going to look first at the day 1.2 script, counting debate. Share my screen so everyone can just double check that they have the right thing in front of them. So those documents, people are asking if where they can find them. They were sent into the WhatsApp announcements group right before this session, and they're also on the website. Okay, so this is kind of just a script, and it goes through several pages like this. Okay, so Swagath, let's go back and the screen share. And once again, we'll pick who's going to be defender, who's going to be challenger. So I guess we'll just switch because I started as challenger before, so you can start as challenger. You'll notice the one thing on here is it says D, and then it has this, other foreign words, Jitar Chechen. So that is said in the Tibetan, but since, most of us don't speak Tibetan, then just keeping it with the D, the syllable, is fine too, or you could say the whole thing. That's again starting with your clap and your D. Okay, Swagath, would you be happy to be the challenger to go through this script?
Cool.
Okay, let's just do the first.
Sounds good,
The first,
Donyo.
yeah, we'll just do the first, like, page. It just goes through, up the page, the rest of page 1 here.
All right. The So Donyo, it follows you can posit the definition of matter.
I accept.
Posit it.
Take the subject, something that is established as particle-like or composed of particles.
Take the subject, something that is established as particle-like or composed of particles. It follows that is the definition of matter.
I accept.
It follows you can posit the divisions of matter.
I accept.
Okay, posit them.
Take the subject, exterior matter and interior matter.
So take the subject, exterior matter and interior matter. It follows these are the divisions of matter.
I accept. And that's really the gist of it. This isn't a literal script. So thank you, Swagath. So we really just set this up so people can just get the habit of getting the language out of your mouth, getting this format out of your mouth so you can really gain that familiarity. Okay? And so it's the simplest of all the exercises that we have. Now the rest of them are also similarly just many of them are to help us really train in the structure, but also simultaneously require a little more thinking, right? This one doesn't really require any thinking. Now, what would be nice though is to try and jog your memory to see, oh, do I remember without having to look at the script, the definition of matter? Can I posit it? Can I just think of it and posit it directly from my memory? And maybe today you can't, but maybe after you go through this a couple times, then you'll be able to because you read it so many times that you'll have it in your memory. So that would be good to try as well, to try to deposit the aspects of the outline from memory. Okay, now we'll go on to drill 1.2, drill 1, ask answer theses. All right, I'll just do a quick screen share again, make sure we're on the same page. Okay, so this one has a list of subjects that begin with cow. Sorry. And let's read through the instructions, actually. Why not, while we're here? Okay, decide who will be challenger and who will be defender. The challenger says take the subject, and then says the written subject. Then they say it follows, it is, and then they say the predicate. You may add articles, English articles, like the, or an as desired. The defender then answers with either I accept or why, right? Those were the two possible answers after a thesis statement. Then it says ask and answer as quickly as you can. So this is like a drill. So we're trying to gain some, fluency in the language. So if we can try and do it quickly, then that will really help train our minds, help train our tongues, our mouths to get the language down. Okay, so Swagath, how about we switch it up again? Maybe
Cool.
let's say 10 examples. Okay, I'll start as the challenger. Take the subject, a cow. It follows that it is an animal.
I accept.
Take the subject, cow. It follows it is a camel.
Why?
Okay, and so you notice, maybe you may have noticed how the first time I said a cow, and the second time I just said cow. So that's up to you. You can say a cow, the cow, cows, whichever you like. Take the subject, the camel. It follows it as a mammal.
I accept.
Take the subject, a mammal. It follows it as a camel.
Why?
Take the subject, a car. It follows it as a train.
Why?
Take the subject, a train car. It follows that it is a car.
Why?
Take the subject a Toyota, it follows it is a car.
I accept.
Take the subject a car, it follows it is a Toyota Prius.
Why?
Take the subject Tesla, it follows that it is a car.
Why?
Take the subject a boat, it follows that it is form.
I accept.
Cool. Okay, so that's exactly how you do that one. And then we'll just demonstrate, we'll do a few less. We don't need to do 10 for every sheet because there's several worksheets. So now we'll just move on to day 1.2, drill 2. So this is, actually this is exactly the same instructions. It's just more examples. So let's actually just skip this one. We don't need to do that again. And then we'll have Swagath be the challenger for the next drill. So this is now day 1.2 drill 3. Answering thesis with fill in the blank. Thesis with fill in the blank. So let's read the instructions here. It's a little different. Let me screen share again. Decide who will be challenger and defender. So now we have two different, as you move down through the worksheet, you'll see the first half, there's only a subject and no predicate written there. And the second half, there's only a predicate, no subject written. So for the lines with a written subject, the challenger says, take the subject, it says the written subject. Then they say it follows it is and has to come up with their own predicate. So you have to think of one to say. Then for the lines with only a written predicate, the challenger first chooses their own subject and says, take the subject, and he chooses it, and then reads the written predicate. So you use the same phrasing, take the subject A, it follows its B. Then the defender answers with either I accept or Y. So Swagath, why don't you do like 5 of the ones that have only a written subject, and then we'll scroll down and do 5 of the ones that have only a written predicate. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so you can be challenged.
All right. Take the subject a moose. It follows it is an animal.
I accept.
Take the subject sweet taste. It follows it is sour taste.
Why?
Take the subject apple. It follows it is tasty.
I accept.
Take the subject lemon. It follows it is not tasty.
Why?
Take the subject sour taste. It follows it is a taste.
I accept.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Scrolling down.
Scrolling down.
Let's do number 16. So take the subject a potato. It follows it is form.
I accept. Form? Whatever, I accept it. Okay. can't take it back now.
Doesn't matter. I can't go anywhere.
Okay.
Take the color of toilet paper. It follows it is the color white.
Why? I think there's brown toilet paper.
Okay.
There used to be anyway.
Take the subject a quark. Yeah, you even have ones with flowers on them and
there you
things that
go.
are very decidedly not white. Yeah. Take the subject a quark, Donyo. It follows it is matter.
Geez, I think I accept, yes.
Take the subject a quark. It follows it is interior matter.
Why?
Okay. Take the subject a quark. It follows it is exterior matter.
I accept. That's a hard question, but I accept it. Okay, good. So that was 5, right? Wonderful. So that's exactly how we do it. And we have a good 30 minutes to do it. So now it does say, by the way, in these instructions, I noticed on this last drill that we just went through, it says, then at the very last part of the instructions, it says, then switch roles and move on to drill 4. There is no drill 4. So um, the other document is another template which you can also use, but it's basically the same as the script, but it's not actually another drill. But so those are the ones that we'll be working with for the next half hour. So the question came up in the WhatsApp group, if you need to actually be in pairs or if you could be in a group of a few people. So that's totally fine. It's whatever you're comfortable with. So please, if you are in a pair and someone else comes up, to join your group, please, please welcome them. And then if you don't feel like just doing one-on-one, but you want to maybe listen more or just be with a bigger group, go ahead and find a pair or a group of other people. No problem. But it is nice if you get a chance to try and take the chance to actually do some of the exercises yourself. All right, so everyone knows where to go, right? Now you know about all the circles around the temple on the outside where you have privacy. So if you go into one of those shadow circles, then no one outside of it will be able to hear you and you won't hear them so that you can stay focused. Okay, so we'll call you guys back in about 30 minutes and then just take some questions and wrap up. Thank you, Swagath.
Thank you, guys. Have fun.
Hi, Anne. Go find some partner to join up with. Hello.
So hey, Donyo, I should be going around and just kind of dropping in on people and just should I be doing that?
Yes, and I'll go and just stay with one group so the stream, gets the live stream will have, just a consistent
Okay.
group of people. But please do, yeah, for yourself, please go ahead and
Cool.
see if they need help or just join
Okay.
in. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Bye bye.
Bye. Okay.
Phone or the video to turn them on and off. There's a microphone and a camcorder to turn them on and off.
I don't know what it is. I'll look for it later. I'll see.
Okay.
Okay. So, hello, Shanti. Yes. How do you want? We were just gonna try doing. Hi, Daniel, and hi, Swagath.
Hello, Venerable.
Hiya.
Hello, Swagath.
Nice
And
to meet you.
Daniel.
How do we do a two-person debate with 5 people? How did you want to do this?
Why don't you guys split up into smaller groups? if you see, there's a bunch of small bubbles around here
Yeah.
that are smaller. So if you guys can pair up, that would be best. You guys would get most
Okay.
practice out of debating with one other person.
Well, why don't you do it together? Oh.
I was gonna do Daniel today.
Oh, okay. You do it with Daniel. I'll go see Shanti.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay, Shanti. Shanti ji, how are you? Oh, you're muted.
Fine, Venerable.
Okay, well, why don't we go through the exercises, and then if someone else joins, I'll let them. Let me see if there's someone. Hello, do you want to join with Shanti? Shubangi? You can come and do it. I'll just listen if you want. You want to come over to join the bubble? I'm not sure if their audio is working that well. Let me see. Let's go down with Carolyn. Just so, because you guys need the training and practice more than me. So, you want to, oh no, she found a partner. Okay, let's just start then. All right, so do you want to start with the counting debate?
Can we start with the asking and answering thesis drill 1?
Yes, sure.
So, Venerable, are you okay? You look a little under the weather.
Do I?
Maybe it's my imagination.
It might be the lighting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm trying. There's like, it's like morning, so the bright sun is coming in, and maybe that's.
An instructor.
Finally, I look bumping into you here. That's good. I was just coming to check if you needed something.
No,
Why don't
actually,
you guys can do the drill, and I'll just listen and put it on the live stream.
Donyola, okay, I can. Shantiji, do you have a partner or you don't have a partner?
as of now, no, but I think Shubangi was somewhere, but I can't see her.
Okay.
As of now, I have no partner.
So do you want to try to do the drill with me?
Okay.
Okay.
So there's the drill 1, right? So you can ask the question.
Just checking, that's day 1.2 counting debate. Is that right?
Actually, I was looking at day 1.2, drill 1.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I got that. That's asking and answering thesis.
Yes.
Okay. So just a moment. I'm just opening the document. Sorry, Donyola, I was more just kind of floating about and checking if people need something, but I know you need to do a live feed, so it's perfectly fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's day 1.2, not the counting debate, but the drill 1, ask and answer. Yeah. All right. So Shantiji, would you like to be the challenger or the defender?
Defender.
Okay. So I will ask, I'll just go through these and I'll ask you, okay. So take the subject cow, it follows it is an animal.
I accept.
Take the subject cow, it follows it is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject camel, it follows it is a mammal.
I accept.
Take the subject mammal, it follows it is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject car, it follows it is train.
Why?
Take the subject train car, it follows it is car.
Why?
Take the subject Toyota, it follows it is a car.
I accept.
Take the subject car, it follows it is Toyota Prius.
Why?
Take the subject Tesla, it follows it is a car.
Why?
Take the subject boat, it follows it is form.
I accept.
Take the subject boat, it follows it is color.
Why?
Take the subject boat, it follows it is shape.
I accept.
Take the subject shape of a boat, it follows it is a boat.
I accept.
Okay, take the subject shape of a boat, it follows it is long shape.
I accept.
Take the shape of a boat, it follows it is tall shape.
Why?
Take the subject shape of a boat, it follows it is form.
I accept.
Take the subject form, it follows it is shape.
Why?
Take the subject form, it follows it is color.
Why?
Take the subject red, it follows it is color.
Why?
Take the subject green, it follows it is color.
Why?
Take the subject green, it follows it is primary color.
I accept.
Take the color of grass, it follows it is primary color.
I have to say I accept, but I think it's wrong. It's why actually.
I thought you can answer whatever you want. There's
Yeah,
no...
true, of course, yes.
Okay, so take the subject color of grass, it follows it is green.
I accept.
Take the subject color of clouds, it follows it is secondary color.
I accept.
Take the subject color of clouds, it follows it is white.
Why?
Take the subject color of clouds, it follows it is primary color.
Why?
Take the subject primary color, it follows it is white.
Why?
Take the subject color of a car, it follows it is blue.
Why?
Take the color of a car, take the subject color of a car, it follows it is color.
I accept.
Take the subject color of light, it follows it is white.
I accept.
Okay, that was good. Would you like to do the next drill, Shantiji, since I'm here?
Okay, if you have nothing else to do, I think I can find a partner if I look hard enough. Shubhangi was wandering around.
Okay, as you like.
Okay.
Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Bye.
see you,
Oh.
bye.
There's someone right here too. Someone just popped. Oh, they ran away. Well, there's a big group too. There's a big group over on the left.
Okay.
Let's see.
I think we're having some audio issues. I'm trying to help her figure out. Yeah.
Oh yes, issues with the technical issues.
Kathy, if can you go to the settings? You might disappear, but can you go to the settings in your
form?
I think I accept.
All right, yeah,
I forgot a form is like an overriding thing of shape and color. You know what I mean?
Why don't we switch now?
Okay. Okay, take the subject form. It follows it as shape.
Oh, you say take the subject, not just take a.
I think you can say. I think take the subject is how
No, it is. That's what it says here. Take the subject. Okay.
The
Okay. sorry.
example
Yeah,
demonstration.
yeah. Okay. Take the subject form follows. Okay. Say it again. Sorry.
Take the subject form. It follows it as shape.
Why?
Okay. Take the subject form. It follows it as color.
Why?
Okay. Take the subject red. It follows it as color.
I accept.
Take the subject green. It follows it as color.
I accept.
Take the subject green. It follows it as primary color.
Screen primary color. I accept.
Take the subject color of grass. It follows it as primary color.
Why?
Take the subject color of grass. It follows it as green.
Why?
Take the subject color of clouds. It follows it as secondary color.
Why?
Take the color of clouds. It follows it as white.
Why?
Take color of clouds, the subject color of clouds. It follows it as primary color.
Why?
Take the subject primary color. It follows it as white.
Why?
Take the color of a car. It follows it as blue.
Why?
Take the color of a car. It follows it as color.
I accept.
Take the subject color of light. It follows it as white.
Why?
Okay, good. All right.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Then the next one is 1.2 drill 2.
Drill 2. Let me find it.
You want one? Should do one. Okay.
Okay, so this one is also, oh, this is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to do the next one, drill 1-3? Drill 3?
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure. Drill day.
It's interesting. The answers are good to read because it helps you understand the thinking process more. You know what I mean?
The answers.
I mean, the whole,
I
if you do the whole, if you do the, when you just read a script, it shows you the way in which the thinking is done, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
Well, because they all have to do with the different categories.
Right.
Whether these things
I think I printed that out, which is good.
whether these things fit into the divisions or not.
The debate, what is it? Oh, the simplified debate outline, matter in the physical universe. So it gives you that.
Yeah.
It shows you the categories.
Yeah, the one with matter in the physical universe, that has all the different categories and divisions, definitions and divisions. Well, it smells like something burning something wet. It smells like burning a wet log. So which one do you want to do, Mom? No, the other, the matter.
You want
that has all.
You want to do one that doesn't have the answers? But we got to try the answers?
Sure. What's that? Fill in the blank. Day 1,
So
drill
fill in the
3.
blank, yeah. Okay.
Decide who will be for lines with a written subject.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to be the challenger or the defender?
So the challenger has to provide what it is, right? Why don't we do it like that? I'll do the first 10 or something, and you can do a bunch.
Okay.
Okay. So take the subject moose. It follows it is a car.
Why?
Take the subject sweet taste. It follows it is sugar.
Why?
Take the subject apple. It follows it is fruit.
I accept.
Take the subject lemon. It follows it is the color yellow.
Why?
Take the subject sour taste. It follows it is unpleasant.
Why?
Take the subject the smell of musty clothes. It follows it is clothes.
Why?
Oh, it's the smell, I see. Take
Yeah,
the
whatever.
subject oak tree. It follows it is a plant.
I accept.
Take the subject cloud. It follows it is white.
Why?
Take the subject white rose. It follows it is a rose.
I accept.
Take the subject the color of a white rose. It follows it is white.
I accept. We switch now.
Okay.
Take the subject the color of a white cloud. It follows it is purple.
Why?
Take the subject a smile. It follows it is purple.
Why?
Take the subject an iPhone. It follows it is not purple.
Why?
Take the subject the black color of an iPhone screen. It follows it is form.
Why?
Take the color of an iPhone screen displaying red. It follows it is displaying red.
I accept.
Take the subject a cloud. It follows it is form.
I accept.
Take the subject the definition of form. It follows it is the color white.
Why?
Take the subject that leaf. It follows it is matter.
A leaf? Yes. It is matter.
Yeah.
I accept.
Take the subject a clown. It follows it is interior matter.
Why?
Take the subject a frown. It follows it is exterior matter.
A what?
Frown.
Oh. Well, that's an interesting question. I'll say why.
Take the subject a town. It follows it is secondary color.
Why?
Take the subject a lawnmower. It follows it is long shape.
I accept.
Take the subject a fawn. It follows it is round shape.
Why?
All right, let's switch now. Your turn.
Okay. Take the subject a drum. It follows it is shape.
Why?
Take the subject a musical note from a symphony. It follows it is sound.
Why?
Take the subject a groan. It follows it is intelligible sound.
I accept.
Take the subject a banana. It follows it is artificial smell.
Why?
Take the subject a dish of sugar. It follows it is sweet taste.
Why?
Take the subject ice cream. It follows it is sour taste.
Why?
Take the subject a perfume. It follows it is fruity smell. Oh, that must be going back time. So it must take the subject. Is that the gong to bring us back?
That's what that is.
Yeah, I guess
Yes.
so.
Oh, okay.
Really
Oh, hi,
matches up.
Danielle. Were you there all
Hi,
the time?
Melinda. Yeah, I was doing the stream. Just letting you guys stream your debate to the world on YouTube.
Oh, how interesting.
Yes.
YouTube.
Okay.
Wait. Did we sign the writer?
We just
I
announced
don't
that
know.
if you
You
don't
might
want to
know.
be streamed, then to go to the back. Did you hear it?
The back of the.
Just the back of the setup, the screen, the temple.
Oh, the back.
The ones
Okay.
in,
You weren't
we'll make it
streaming
more
it when we
clear.
were.
If it wasn't clear, we'll make it more clear that all the ones in the front
Were you
are going.
streaming when we got bored with the first one?
It didn't sound like you were bored any of the time I heard. I don't know. You were.
Okay, good.
Okay.
See you.
Hello and welcome back. So let me get a show of hands for how many of you found that those drills and exercises were interesting or somehow helpful to get you going with the debate format. Okay, cool. Some people thought they were interesting and helpful. That's good to hear. Very nice. And also, it's nice to just start interacting with each other, right? To kind of hear different people's ways of thinking and ideas. And maybe someone says why to a thesis statement that you think is so obviously true. And you're like, wait a minute, how did you not accept that? And that's kind of cool, right? So this is actually the same drills that we'll be doing during the the actual 1 hour debate session. And this is what you can do, since you don't, you can get through these relatively quickly and you don't need to just repeat over and over the same thing. So what you can do is take one of the theses on this sheet or one of the worksheets that you thought was a bit curious, that you wanted to kind of investigate a little further, and then you can actually try your best with what you know so far to unravel it a little and go further in a debate. So someone says, take the subject Tesla, it follows its car, and you go, wait a minute, no. And they say accept, right? And you go, no, that can't be. Tesla's not a car. It's a company. It's not a car. So, you know, you can now start to debate that a little bit, right? Take a few of those questions. So that's what you can do in the debate session, which will be again this afternoon at 1 p.m. for the 1 p.m. Eastern for America and North South America, and then for the different times in India and Europe, and I guess the Australians seem to have come up with their own time, which is great. Then you just look at your schedules, and those sessions will be tomorrow, right? Okay, so now let's see. We have a little bit of time. If people want to, we have an opportunity for people to ask questions. And if Swagath and Joe, if you want to come also on stage, so you can, address things and stuff on as well, and that way, or all the coaches can come on. Techal is also here, and Delisa is also here, so that way we can sort of, if anyone can field a question. Okay, great. So the way we should do this is now, if you have a question, right, so everyone who was raising their hand to respond to my question, please put that down. And if you have a question now, raise your hand. And when we call on you, you also please come up to the stage so that we can all hear you. Okay, so the first hand I see is Kapil Chawla. Please come to the stage.
Is it fine? Fine.
We can hear you.
Okay. So, while doing the drills, it was kind of repetitive thing, like just doing. I couldn't figure out much of the logic. I'm feeling lost. So, is it common to feel lost at this stage, or it's like it was something? The experience was like I've been just thrown in a swimming pool and I'm trying to swim.
I'd just like to say that the experience of feeling lost is at every stage. not just the beginning stage.
Okay, so the lost is getting lost is part of the drill.
That's my experience anyway. Somebody else maybe has a comment about that.
I mean,
I would
oh, go on, Tejal. Yes.
Yeah, Kapilji, I mean, I think your observation is very good, and it's very natural at this point to feel both that there is a kind of repetition without necessarily having a bigger picture, because it's like it's like the full statement is not being explored right now, just the first preliminary part. And it is true, we're just getting, it's like before construct the full sentence properly, we just have like now 2 or 3 parts. So it's very natural, but it's just to get into the flow of the language, and each day, every session, there will be further elements which will be added, and then you will feel more grounding that, okay, I know what I'm doing or why I'm saying. That's my response. Thank you.
I would like to add a scientific or a science perspective on that. Thanks, Teachel. I totally agree. Not being aware of not knowing something is a value in itself, and if you know that if you know that you do not something, then that's the first step to turn that not knowing something into knowing something. But first, you would need to be aware that you do not know some point, you lack some knowledge in some regard, and then you can change it. So knowing that is very good, and nothing that should cause any bad feelings or so. That's the first step to turning that not knowing into knowing.
Great. Thank you for the wonderful answers and a very good question. And it is true that there's a sense in which debate is not easy, and you go through different types of emotions. Sometimes it is boredom with repetition, and sometimes it is confusion, oftentimes. And sometimes it's, kind of your ego being hit when someone is proving you wrong about something. There's a lot of different things that can come up. And so, but these are just natural and part of the learning process. It is also, a unique thing we're doing here where generally, we didn't explain this yet, but just briefly to say generally or traditionally, whenever someone learns debate, you do it in the context of actually studying Buddhist philosophy and psychology, right? Here, we're actually, I mean, that's what it's been done since the past 1,000 years in Tibet and beforehand in India. Here, we're actually focusing on just learning the structure so it can be applied in any kind of academic discipline or in just your own thinking. So it's a little bit of a different approach. So, the subjects and the predicates we're using are a little bit more mundane, perhaps. So that also could be contributing. But it's again just to train in this structure. So I wanted to actually, though, before we take another question, and I'm sorry there are some hands that I see, but I think Joe had a few things left over from the last session to comment on. Is that right, Joe?
With your permission, yes, there were a couple of other things, but maybe I can wait and do those next time. Maybe
Okay, yeah, I mean, because the
valuable
questions, we could also ask people to put them into the WhatsApp chat and try to address them there. So either way, I mean, if it's not, it's up to you.
Okay, well, if you're if I'm giving a platform to talk, I will.
Okay, yeah, why
Right,
don't you?
so I just wanted to say. Right, so I just wanted to say, okay, the 3 things that we're really going to be covering in this course are what are good reasons, how to respond in debate, and pervasions. And if this doesn't make sense to you yet, that's totally cool. But they're like the main things that we're going to be talking about. I also wanted to mention about the materials. I might have said some of this already, but the when you have doubts in the like if you're reading the materials and you have doubts about the materials, then that's totally fine. That's actually excellent. If you find something in the debate outline or in anything, and you think, oh, that sounds a bit funny, that doesn't sound quite right, that's a good sign. That's a sign that you can use that as something to debate when you have a doubt. I think Donyo also already mentioned about this, the purpose of the debate outline itself, that it was meant to be used as a kind of common ground, a common set of definitions and categories from which to start. So that's where we start, and then once we start debating, we can like problematize those definitions and we can kind of challenge them, and that's great. That's awesome. If you are already sort of finding ways that you want to challenge them, that's wonderful. We talked about memorization. I think Ken Rinpoche talked about these in terms of the collected topics. So the debate outline itself is based upon the collected topics that the monks study when they study debate. And this is like the basic sort of textbooks that they study. And the collected topics themselves come from Vasubandhu, not the collected topics, but the collected topics are derived from an Abhidharma text by Vasubandhu from the 4th and 5th century. So if you're wondering about where the origin of this debate outline and where all these definitions and divisions come from, they are an adaptation of the collected topics, and the collected topics is from the Abhidharma, from the Abhidharma Kosha. And if you want to have a look at, because some people were sort of thinking, oh, these are really strange sort of categories. But if you're interested in looking at the original source of that, that's also in the reading room, an English translation of that. But what we've done here is we've taken that and we've kind of given it more of a scientific flair to it. So it's an adaptation of. Right, I think we've already covered almost everything else. So maybe we can
Thank you,
turn to
Jo.
questions now, or maybe that's provoked some more questions.
Great. So we have a couple of hands, and then someone sent a message question that says, "Can you explain the meaning of D? You know, the syllable that we say when we start, and the hand gesture, does it resemble Manjushri?" So just briefly, yes, the D is the syllable that represents Manjushri, and that is the Buddha of wisdom. So a sort of embodiment and fulfillment of wisdom. And so that's what is invoked when we start the debate by saying D. And the hand gestures also have symbolism. Now, when we're debating in live with people that are not on a computer, we also stamp. You stamp your left foot on the ground. So all these have symbolic meaning that help to reinforce a positive motivation where we're really aiming to clear away ignorance. So stamping your foot is like you're pressing down on ignorance and delusion and negative emotions. And putting your hands together is joining compassion with wisdom. Okay, so things like that are all part of the symbolism. So that you do, if you have that kind of disposition to want to think about that, you can bring those to mind. Okay, so another question comes from Jitar Chichen. Is a question that just came. What does Jitar Chichen mean? It means it's kind of hard to like translate it, but it's just saying this is how Manjushri's syllable of D comes to be. We're taking that as our subject, as the topic for our debate, this wisdom of Manjushri. D is the subject of our debate. chuchen means the subject. When we say take the subject in Tibetan, the word is chuchen. So we say di jiter chuchen, you're saying take the subject, just this way of Manjushi's wisdom. The way of Manjushi's wisdom. Okay. Question from Rahul. Please come, Rahul M, please come to the stage and ask your question. Thank you.
Question is, like, this arose in our debates, how do you respond to opinions? Like, suppose someone says, like, take the subject, a sour taste, it follows that it tastes disgusting. Do you say, like, how do you respond to that? Is there like a term for between why and I accept?
Well, I think Venerable Namjong posted a message in the WhatsApp chat. I noticed where he also mentioned that there is a possible answer that is occasionally given of doubt, where you really have no way to determine the answer, right? So you say there's doubt. In this context, we tend to not so much debate about kind of judgment-based adjectives like disgusting, but it's not like off limits. So you answer how you feel, how what you think is true. Is a lemon disgusting? No, they're delicious. Okay, why? You answer why. So
Okay, thanks.
okay. Any other?
Can I just add something as well? So if a defender commits themselves to the view that a lemon is disgusting, that's totally fine. But then as a challenger, you have to prove, they're allowed to accept that. But then the onus is on you to get them to contradict themselves later on. It's, if you want to agree that a lemon is disgusting, that's totally fine. If you want to agree that a lemon is not disgusting, again, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Right, and some of these like kind of opinion based or more like just personal perception, based questions, they might be hard to get kind of a clear answers on, but yeah, you can debate it and see what comes out of it. So hand is, I think, is that Mercurio who has the hand up? Yeah, okay, great.
Is my mic on? You hear? Okay. So a question about the use of no pervasion. Is it possible, like right after the challenger makes a statement, that the defender straight away says there's no pervasion? For example, in the example of the toilet paper is white, and the defender, can they say straight away there's no pervasion, or do they just have to say why? How does that work?
Exactly as you said. They would say why if they don't agree, and then if they don't agree with the reason, that's where they would say no pervasion.
Okay. And in the case of that, or for example, a mammal is a camel, for example, and you feel there is no pervasion, is it correct to say there's no pervasion because not all mammals, a mammal is not necessarily a camel? Is that an example of no pervasion?
Right. So that is not a pervasion, right? That is no pervasion, but you wouldn't say no pervasion there, because no pervasion is only going to be when we start talking about the reason.
I see.
But you're right. There isn't a pervasion, but in that case, you would just say why.
Say why. Okay.
Because you don't agree with it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So no pervasion has to be the answer to a reason that is not.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, and that's a great question, right? Because we didn't actually, in any of these particular exercises, start using reasons yet. So we'll start with that tomorrow. And with that question, it looks like the hands have been exhausted as well as our time. So as I think everyone should be aware of the schedule. Just a reminder, we have 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's in 2 hours for the debate, for that debate session. And then the other ones, please look according to your time zone. And other than that, we have a next lecture tomorrow. So again, depending on the time zone, but we'll start with our day 2 lecture tomorrow, and we'll be going more into how to carry on the debate, right? How to apply these reasons and answer them. Let's see, there's, okay. Oh, there are still hands up. Oh, I didn't see any. Oh, I can't see the whole room. That's why. Oh yeah. How do I tell if there's hands up? Oh, there are a lot of hands up. Oh dear. Whoops. I only saw the hands in like the first row of people because that's where I'm standing. All right, well, how about then what we can do is stop the, class formally, and then if people want to ask questions, then, myself and whoever else of the coaches are happy to stay behind. We'll stay behind for a few more minutes. And if people want to post, if you have the option, if you want to come up and ask us here, go ahead. If you want to just put it in the chat, go ahead. Up to you. All right, thank you so much, everybody. And with that, today's class is formally over, and we'll stick around to answer more questions. Thank you for yes, and thank you for pointing that out, Tejal, that there are more questions still.